Alfred, I'm gonna open my soda can. Call it out for you again.
What up, and welcome to another episode of Brotherhood Without Manners, a full spoiler reread podcast about George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series. We are beginning with a Game of Thrones, reading lots of chapters. I'm Nate. My co-host over here is my brother. This is Zach.
Hail, adventurer.
You turn into a wizened old mage.
I did.
That's pretty cool. So, co-hosting today is a wizened old mage known as Zach.
What up?
So, today we'll be reading John 4, but we do have a little bit of stuff to discuss beforehand.
I guess, sure.
Whoa,
We're right in
the
thick of it. As of recording this, as we know, we tend to record things a little bit earlier than we release them. Surprise, surprise, that's how time works. And so, as of recording this, we're right in the thick of things. Things are really exciting. I kicked the table. It's the usual episode kick.
So, yeah, we're at, our episodes have released a while ago now, but we're currently at season 8, episode 3 is the most recent episode we've watched in the show.
We went back and we're just catching the premiere of season 3.
It's pretty cool.
It's dope. Join us. You guys should watch it.
Fucking shut up. I'm trying to.
Yeah, as of recording this, season 8, episode 3 just aired, The Long Night, and it's getting a lot of hate, but,
already know what our feelings are about it from our episode and all that, but we, it's so good right now.
Yeah, it's great.
It's really keeping the fandom going crazy right now, the whole series. So hopefully now that, I think by this time it's, the series is already over.
Oh, yeah, it has been by the time you guys are hearing this.
And so hopefully, for those people that have been with us for a while, thanks for coming back, but I feel like a lot of newer listeners might have joined us now that the show has ended.
Indeed. If you come from the show,
welcome to that which you probably didn't actually mean to join. It was all accidental, and now you're stuck. Don't
in your accidental stumblings, you can hear from someone who's not us, who had something to say about the show.
Funny enough, the email was called Random and Bumbling Thoughts from a Fan.
Hey.
So, it's okay that I'm random and bumbling right now, because it's been a long week, yo. So this is going to be, we want to read out an email for, anybody that wants to write into us, please do. We always like to have the inductees, and so we're definitely always looking for those write-ins. So this person wrote in am I reading the whole email here, or should I give them just the gist of things here?
Yeah, just give them the gist.
So, first of all, big shout out to Gigi. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Gigi, for writing into us.
We appreciate it. And so, the main thing I took from the email here is that, and I replied to her, but she pointed out that quite a few episodes back, I think, at this point, but I don't actually remember exactly what episode it was. I had referred to Arya as a Gryffindor. Shame on me. I think that because Gigi, definitely said she's sly and resourceful, she's a Slytherin. Her entire motivation to be a badass spawns from vengeful means, not because of brave, heroic intentions. And so while I think, to an extent, that's true, but I definitely feel as though she encompasses the Slytherin better than the Gryffindor.
Yeah, I agree.
Because she does, she's very loyal to her family, to her pack, her group, which is a Slytherin quality. She's not boastful or prideful about it, which is much more a Gryffindor quality. So you're right. I stand corrected, Gigi. Otherwise, there was just some stuff about that episode from a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Sorry it took so long for us to respond on episode, but again, we pre-record a lot of stuff, so
what can you do?
Hopefully you're still listening at this point, but we're also looking forward to those books coming out in another 10 years to answer the questions that we're interested in. But again, thank you so much, Gigi, for writing in.
Yeah, thanks, Gigi. We appreciate it.
And hit me up again. I enjoy those little fan write back and forths, so those are cool. So we are again reading John 4 today,
Yeah, so if you joined us last week, we were reading Ned 5. Ned was he was meeting Grand Maester Pycelle and discussing the circumstances of Jon Arryn's death, the illness,
and the
cause.
last visit with Pycelle that Jon Arryn had, so he
about
was...
the book.
Yeah.
And then on his way back, Ned ran into Arya doing her best water dancer impression. And then Ned returned to his solar and was told that Littlefinger wanted to meet him, so he went and met Littlefinger, and Littlefinger sort of pointed out that, hey, there's a spy, and here's a spy, and you don't really know what's going on, but you should send someone to talk to Jon Arryn's squire, Sir Hugh of the Vale, and kind of get the lowdown there. And we were left with Ned not really trusting anything around him, but
except Littlefinger.
Saying he trusted Littlefinger.
Fool.
And so, yeah, now we pick up with
Johnny
Ned's bastard son, Jon, at the wall, and Jon is currently showing Darian how to deliver a side stroke in the training yard. Ka-tink, ka-tink.
Yeah.
And this is when he notices
somebody
that a new
brings
recruit,
it to his attention.
A
they
new
call
recruit
it out.
has entered the yard.
It's was it Gren who pointed out that, hey Jon, did you just see what walked into the training yard here? Maybe it was Pip actually.
It was Darren.
Oh, it was Darren who actually
7 gods. Would you look at this Jon, as he points out. Samwell Tarly, as we don't quite get his name yet, but Jon, through the eye slits of his helm, Jon sees the fattest boy he had ever seen. By the look of him, he must have weighed about 20 stone,
So, for those who don't know, a stone is about 14 pounds.
Hey.
So he looks like he's about 280 pounds, almost 300 pounds.
Okay.
Which, I mean, that's a big dude. It's pretty unfortunate that in today's day and age, that 280 pounds, while it's big, isn't exactly the fattest person I've ever seen by any stretch of the matter.
For his age, I'm assuming.
14. Well, he's like 16 or 17, isn't he now?
Is he?
I think he was a bit older because it was like his 15th
he might be a little
day
older
or something.
Than Jon. Yeah, I think you're right, yeah. But it says the fur collar of his embroidered surcoat was lost beneath the chins under his face. And he says that they had told me I was to come here for training, and he kind of just says this out loud to no one in particular. And Pip points out that he's a lordling, probably from somewhere near around Highgarden.
Yeah, Pip has the uncanny abilities to kind of just pick up on wherever somebody's accent is
he traveled
from,
with some mummers.
So yeah, so he picks up on some
ability.
things, which is pretty cool.
And Jon notices that there's a striding huntsman worked in scarlet thread on the breast of the fat boy's surcoat.
Which we'll get more information on the Tarly sigil here in
Jon
a little
doesn't
bit,
recognize
but yeah,
it
he's not
here.
aware of it at the moment.
So Alliser Thorne looks over at this new recruit.
And he comes down hard.
Seems they've run out of poachers and thieves down south. Now they send us
so
pigs.
I did want
to
to point
man the
out
wall.
when Pip was talking about where Samwell's from, he mentions, down south somewhere near Highgarden.
Yeah.
Hornhill is like just south of Highgarden.
Yeah.
So like Pip fucking nailed it, by the way.
did.
Just so we're like right fucking there on the dot practically.
So Sir Alliser's not too pleased seeing this fat boy that he now has to train, and Jon says that, or thinks that, the new recruit had brought his own armor, sword and
and this
shield,
is fucked, yo.
and all sorts of armor, but
Thorne
none of it.
won't let him use his own armor because it's not black. Fucking dye it black, paint it black, like. You're really going to force him to squeeze his friggin' sausage fingers into these pieces that are welded together
I disagree with you here. Like, it's got his sigils and shit on it.
Rip them off.
Rip them off of, like, enameled armor?
Fuck yeah, like, chuck that shit down.
Give the steel to Donald Noy and let him make something of it.
Or just weld it down to nothing. Get rid of the sigils, paint it black,
Well, like... I get it, because it sort of reminds me of Waymore Royce. Like, he showed up with a bunch of his shit sigiled and everything,
but he had the nice embroidered black stuff too.
Well, yeah, his was all black. Like,
so
I think Sam's is a little flashy. Anyway, Sir Alliser tells him to go re-equip himself from the armory, which takes half the morning because Donald Noy has to modify breastplates, stretch them out, combine them to dress Sam. He's a big dude. So when he's finally armored, Sam ends up looking more like an overcooked sausage about to burst its skin.
Yeah, it's fucked, man.
Yeah. So Sir Alliser tells Halder to see what Sir Piggy can do. And the fight lasts less than a minute. before Sam is on the ground. He was shaking. And
I'm surprised it lasted that long.
Oh yeah, and blood is leaking through his shattered helm and through his fingers as he lays collapsed on the ground. Apparently, he took a nice, good, hearty, fucking sword bash right to the helmet.
Beatings there, yeah.
So he's screaming out, I yield, no more."
Yo, but Alliser's like, yo, fuck that. Hit him harder.
Yeah,
like, he said, get on your feet.
Rast and some of the other boys are laughing, and yeah, Sir Alliser orders him to his feet. And when Sam is still clinging to the ground, Alliser gestures to Halder and tells him to hit him with the flat of your blade until he finds his feet. And so Halder does just a light little tap, and Thorne tells him that you definitely can hit harder than that. And Halder grips his sword with both hands and whaps down on him, and this time the blow splits the leather along his ass, even with just the flat of the blade. That's how hard he ends up hitting him. So Sam is screaming, this recruit is screaming, John steps forward, but Pip grabs his arm to stop him.
Pulls him back,
and so the fat boy struggles to rise, and he slips in the mud.
Yeah,
and
man,
he falls
Alliser
again.
starts talking mad shit, like, God, you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah, Sir Piggy's starting to grasp the notion. Again, he tells him to hit him.
Yeah, so John this time ignores Pip, and he strides forward, and he's like, yo, Halder, fucking chill, man.
Well,
like,
we really get here this sort of division in the Night's Watch because Rast the whole time is laughing and cut us off some ham and all this shit. So we get John's side with like Pip and John who really aren't enjoying this and want to stop it, and then we get Rast who's just loving it. But you're right, yeah. John calls out Halder.
Rast is basically fucking Draco Malfoy to goddamn Umbridge Alliser Thorne there.
Yeah.
Like, just this little fanboy who's wanting to do whatever he can to take pleasure in the torture.
I think it works on Rast's end. I don't think that analogy really works from Thorne.
No, he's definitely not.
Thorne gives a flying fuck about Rast.
Yeah.
But Jon Snow calls out Halder enough, and Halder looks up to Thorne as he is the commander there, and Thorne kind of laughs and says, "The bastard speaks and the peasants tremble. I am master at arms here, Lord Snow, need I remind you?" But Jon ignores him and just tells Halder, "Look at him, he yielded. There's no honor in beating a fallen foe." And so Jon goes and kneels down beside the boy, and Sir Alistair is just staring daggers
just
at
pissed,
Jon.
all fucking
and of course,
about it.
Alistair, our bastards in love. And so he tells him, "Show me your steel, Lord Snow." So Jon helps the boy to his feet and draws his longsword. And it says he was willing to push Sir Alistair, but only so far, and he feels like he's already pushed further than he would be willing.
Sir Alistair then decides that he's going to pit Jon against the boys, because they need to go get Sir Piggy, and they need to get through Jon.
They'll make an exercise of it. So he tells Rast and Albert to join Halder.
Yeah.
And he says, make Lord Piggy squeal, just get past the bastard.
And Jon says he's used to 2 versus 1. He's used to 2 of the guys coming at him at a time, because Thorne does that to him all the fucking time, which, it's kind of necessary for Jon, technically. None of them really one-on-one are quite
3v1 is going to be a different story.
Yeah. And
Jon is expecting to go to sleep tonight bloody and bruised.
And beat up, yeah. So he tells Sam to stand behind him, and the odds begin to turn. Little Pip stands up behind Jon, too.
Drawing his sword. Before Jon can even say a word, I kick the table again.
God,
and then,
stop. Can you not?
Well, that was 2 table kicks and 2 on Jon's squad. And then we'll make a third. There's the table kick. And Gren steps up.
Whoa, what kind of power is this you wield?
To make it a third. And the yard goes deathly quiet at this. And Sir Alistair, I think he's actually sort of amused. He asks him, "What are you waiting for?"
So I love this because this is one of our first really good little fight skirmish scenes, and it's kind of badass.
So Thorne asks that to Rast, but it's Jon who moves first, and Halder barely gets his sword up in time before Jon is just driving him back. And Jon has time to think. Know your foe is what Sir Roderick had always taught him, and he knew that Halder was strong but short on patience, and you could frustrate him and get him to leave himself open.
Yeah.
And so Jon goes right in, knocks Halder right on his ass, and goes to move.
And so this is cool because he immediately has the thought process of, Gren is, he's kind of holding his own. He's good. Oh, Pip needs more help.
Yeah.
And so he goes and helps Pip first.
Yeah, against Rast.
Yeah.
So he slams Rast in the helm with his sword.
Dink.
And Pip is unable to get him down on the ground. And so facing 2 swords, Albert backs away, yielding. And Sir Alistair is not pleased with.
Because especially how fast they were
Yeah,
just
it
like,
was
don't,
efficient.
done.
And so he looks around with disgust, and he calls an end to the session, and saying there's only so much he can stomach in a day. So Halder rips off his helm and tells John, I thought I finally had you.
And so I really like that once Thorne stalks away and like he got this like
Halder's not a bad dude.
Right, Thorne Halder was more excited that like he had pitted up against John, and like and even John's like, for a second there you did have me, like it was. And
he tries to take off his helm, but the pain in his shoulder from a wound he had taken from Halder made it actually hard to get it off, so he grits it. He just kind of gives up. And then he hears, let me, and these thick-fingered hands gently remove John's helmet. And it says that blood matted the fat boy's head where Halder had split his helm. And he introduces himself. My name is Samuel Tarley, and I was of Horn Hill. And he says, I'm Jon Snow. And then Sam says, if you want, you can call me Sam. And John does the introductions. These two are Gren and Pipar. Pipar. And Sam says, my thanks to all of you. And so Gren, sort of the simple one of the group, asks, why didn't you get up and fight? And this is when Sam admits. He looks to the ground and he says, I fear I'm a coward.
I'm a bitch. I like to run away from stuff.
And they're all stunned by this. What sort of man admits that he's a coward? In this world, that's just...
Yeah, it's crazy to be a self-proclaimed coward. To be like, yeah, no, the worst thing you could possibly be is, yellow. And that's me. I'm
admitted
a
craven,
coward.
Yeah. So it says Sam must have read their thoughts because he apologizes and he says that I don't mean to be like I am, and he starts heading toward the armory. But John calls to him, tomorrow you'll do better, and his eyes well up and he says, no, I won't.
Pictured was fucking Alan Rickman's voice as
the robot
in
from
fucking Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah,
no,
that's great.
And he just walks away.
I never do better.
I'll never win.
So Gren, again, the simple one, is worried about being seen as a coward because they associated with
guilty
him.
By association.
Pip tells him he's too stupid, and they're arguing, and John heads off to the armory.
Yeah, he's used to their bickering.
He hangs up his sword, and he's stripping off his armor, and he thinks about how life at Castle Black follows a routine. Mornings are for swordplay, afternoons are for the work. New recruits usually are set to a ton of different tasks throughout the castle to see where their skills lay.
So this is kind of how it was for me in high school back a few years ago.
Did he bopping around like vocations?
Yeah, you get the vocations, you get the different, shop class and carpentry class and fucking all those different things, and then you go to each one for so many days or weeks, and then you pick one at the end. Or in this case, you're assigned to one.
And so it says that John's favorite job to do was hunting game for the Lord Commander's supper with ghosts. But for every day he spent hunting with ghosts, he spent 10 in the armory helping Donald Noy, or running messages, or standing at guard, or helping Eamon with the birds, or Bowen Marsh with counts and inventories. So he's getting this wide span, not really of training, but more of just like, are you good at this trade?
Yeah, it's basically the MCAS or whatever testing that they used to do to...
That's Massachusetts.
Oh, right. No, what is it?
The Grand Pacer Fitness Test
it's
a multi-stage.
No, because it would be the SATs and the fucking... What were those other ones that you could do?
Yeah, no,
It might be like named after the military kind of testing or some shit, but it was...
I don't fucking know, dude.
I don't know, man. It's tests. And I feel like vocational classes might have aged us. I don't know if some of our younger listeners would even know what a vocational class is. Do they have those in schools these days?
We're going to change the fucking topic
right
now.
We're done.
So, this afternoon, John's job was to scatter gravel.
Because that's so much more exciting, dropping rocks on ice.
I'd rather hear about that than contemplate my aging self.
True story, I suppose.
And so, John, has to scatter gravel over the tops of the footpaths on the wall.
Yeah, he's just kind of thinking about Tyrion and Sam.
It's lonely, boring work, but John doesn't really mind it. And, he finds himself sort of daydreaming. And, he's thinking of Samwell Tarly and, oddly, Tyrion Lannister. And he wonders what Tyrion would make of Sam. And then he thinks of Tyrion's quote, most men would rather deny a hard truth than face it.
And that's when John decides that, it takes a queer kind of courage or bravery to be admitting to the fact that you're a coward.
Yeah, the world is full of cravens who pretend to be heroes, and it takes a queer sort of courage to admit cowardice, as Samwell Tarly had.
I really like
that's a little bit of Jon's maturity, and I think Tyrion helped sort of shine the light on that a lot when he was at the wall, of like looking at a man for more of his motives and his reasoning. Why would Sam admit this? Because he is, and Jon's right. There is sort of a bravery in knowing that, that he's never gonna lead a ranging north of the wall. He likes, and we learn it a little bit more, but Sam likes song and dance and that's food. And
I was actually having an argument online recently. Somebody was talking about,
because those always get somewhere.
Yeah, I know. Randall Tarley, and why he's a product of his environment, and that's why he hates Sam for not being masculine. And I started mentioning, like, fuck Randall Tarley, because just because Sam likes to read and sing and stuff, fucking Rhaegar was one of the most looked up to potential kings of all time. He sang, he read, he liked poetry.
I mean, look at Ned Stark and Arya.
Right.
He doesn't, shame her into being a woman. He gets her a water dancing sword.
Yeah,
master.
Fuck Randall Tarley.
Randall Tarley's a dickhead.
And that's not to say that Ned's fucking a perfect parent.
Not at all,
by any means, but
there is acceptance of what your children choose to do in this world.
Sam is more than capable. He would have been a way better fucking heir to Hornhill than Randall Tarley ever was.
Exactly.
Sam would have that place fucking. It would be booming. I bet he'd have the commerce going crazy.
In this world, it's the Randall Tarleys that are the issue. They're the ones that continue this cycle of. Women,
the misogynistic fucking
women
bullshit.
Shouldn't be in power, and men need to be these strong, burly warriors.
But yeah, so it's nice that Jon recognizes so early that, at least Sam knows what he's good at, and he's accepted what he's bad at.
So it's late afternoon by the time he's done scattering his gravel, and he's watching the sunset from the top of the wall, which I imagine is just a fucking sight to see, man. And then he descends down, heading to dinner, and it says that the evening meal is almost finished by the time Ghost and Jon arrive to the eating hall.
Yeah, he gives a breakdown of what's going on.
Yeah, he sees his friends chilling on a bench, and Pip is telling another story that night, and Pip usually has great stories that everyone laughs at.
Which, again, he traveled with mummers, so it makes sense that he's pretty good at storytelling.
This night, Jon doesn't go and join them, and instead goes to the other end of the bench where Sam was sitting alone, and Sam's eyes widen as Ghost and him walk up, and he asks if it's a wolf, and Jon says, "Bitch, it's a dire wolf.
Get it straight, motherfucker."
And his name is Ghost. And he basically just straight up asks Sam, "Why are you so frightened?" And Sam shakes his head, too scared to, talk. And I think Jon guesses it right here, that it's in this room, there's a lot of people that could hear and laugh and mock. So Jon suggests they go outside, and Sam gets a little suspicious and says, "Why?" And Jon says, "So we can talk." And there's a wall out there. Have you seen it? And Sam says, "I'm fat. I'm not blind." But so he throws his cloak on, and they head outside. And they go out, and they talk about the cold. And Sam admits that he's never seen snow until.
And so the real cool thing is that Jon had these same feelings, because he really mentions how he wasn't expecting it to be this cold.
Yeah.
And neither did Jon. And Jon's used to the cold.
Yeah.
So, for poor Sam Tarley, it's like going from fucking Florida to the very top of fucking Canada. You've got this nice warm weather all the time. The coldest weather you get is still fairly decent. And all of a sudden, there's fucking snow. That's a thing? That's real shit? I thought that was in Old Nan's stories. Hornhill's Old Nan. She tells stories about Winterfell currently. That's how behind the times they are with that shit.
Hornhill's an anagram for Old Nan. They don't have the same amount of letters.
They don't.
That's an uneducated post. Anyway, Sam, he sort of rehashes this and how he had never seen snow until about a month ago. So it's all terrifying to him. And then he says that he's worried about going to the top of the wall. He doesn't much like high places. And this ends up being the last straw for Jon. He asks, "Are you afraid of everything? Why would a coward want to join the Night's Watch?" And Sam sits down, and he begins sobbing, and Jon is kind of just awkwardly staring at him. But it says it was Ghost who knew what to do.
I fucking love this, especially because we, this is a full spoiler reread. Ghost is going to be with Samwell for a while now, you know, and so they're going to build a friendship, too. And so, I love that fucking Ghost runs up and just
starts licking the tears off. Yeah. And Sam cries out at first. And he freaks out, but it says in a heartbeat his sobs turn to laughter, and then Jon Snow begins laughing with him. And Jon starts telling him about how they found the wolves, and then soon enough he's talking of Winterfell, and he says that sometimes I dream about it. And in these dreams he's walking down a long empty hall, and he's calling. He's calling for everybody, but no one ever answers him. And it says he doesn't know who he's looking for. Most nights it's his father. Some nights it's Robb or Arya or even Benjen. And the thought of Benjen makes him sad, and he thinks about how men were still sent out looking for him. And Sam asks do you ever find anyone in your dreams? Did you have a point?
So it's just about that. I don't know if this is further in the quote yet, so I was letting you finish where you were at. He mentions the stables and the stables being full of...
Oh, yeah. I got one more thing there. Yeah, Sam says, do you ever find anyone in your dreams? And Jon shakes his head and says that the castle is always empty. And he doesn't know why he's opening up to Sam about this, but goddamn, it feels good to tell somebody about this, even though there really isn't anything. And yeah, he mentions that the ravens are gone, and then that even...
Yeah, the birds are gone, he gets to the stables, and it's just full of bones. And, for some reason, when that line came at me, the first thing that jumped into my mind, and granted it is most likely 100% completely unrelated, but it was Vermeer Sixskins, and Rattleshirt, there, because he's talking about the birds and the stables and piles of bones, and it just seemed kind of like this, almost like it could potentially be this foreshadowing for some of the other people he might be meeting.
Yeah.
But I don't have any evidence to
I had
there.
nothing.
It just happened to pop into my head right then, so I just wrote it down. That's
and
what
Jon
I was
always,
thinking
and he
then.
says that always scares him when he sees the stable full of bones, and then he finds himself at the entryway to the crypts, and he says, somehow I know I have to go down there, but I don't want to. I'm afraid of what's waiting for me. And so he screams that he's not a Stark and that this isn't his place, but he knows that he has to go anyway. And he does. He starts down, and he's feeling the walls until it gets darker and darker until he just wants to scream, and that's when he always wakes up. And that's a pretty terrifying fucking dream.
Yeah, man, that's creepy as shit, because, I mean, it says, again, that he's not scared about his death. It's more the kings of winter down there.
Mm-hmm.
Not, and so, like...
He doesn't belong.
Fuck, man, that poor kid. Like, especially after being, like, ostracized by Catelyn Stark, and, like, it's just fucked, man.
So Jon asks Sam, do you dream of Hornhill? And Sam says, no, I hated it there. And this is when we get the description that the Tarleys were an old house sworn to the Tyrells of Highgarden. Samwell was the oldest son of Randall Tarley, and whatever pride Randall had felt at Sam's birth vanished as soon as he grew up plump and soft and awkward. He liked music and kittens and books and dance, and he fainted at the sight of blood and wept at the sight of blaze.
Yeah.
A dozen master-at-arms tried to turn Sam into a knight, and when that didn't work, it turned to abuse and starvation.
Yeah, man, Randall's fucking a savage cunt.
And through it all, Sam only grew fatter and more frightened. One time, 2 warlocks from Karth came, white skin and blue lips. They slaughtered a bull and made him bathe in the hot blood. And it didn't make him brave like they promised. He got sick and puked, and his father had them scourged.
Yeah, so it's very cool that we get to see the warlocks and the nightshade they drink.
Yeah.
So early on and in a Jon chapter.
So
not
I
a
just
Dany
thought.
chapter.
Well, speaking of Dany, I just thought, of course it didn't work. Like, the dragons weren't born yet. There's no magic in the world. Yeah,
I suppose that makes sense, actually. Yeah.
I don't know why, but as soon as like the warlocks,
but the White Walkers or the others are
on a
around.
different set of magic. Let's be honest here. So he says that finally, after 3 girls in 3 years, Lady Tarly gave birth to another son.
And Sam was fucking forgotten.
Yeah,
but
it was peaceful, and Sam enjoyed it until his 15th, you were right, name day.
Boom.
Where he awakened to his horse was saddled and ready, and he was escorted to his father, who was skinning a deer.
Yo, so I never made the connection to this is how they got the introduction in the television show for Tywin's part with Jaime. And God, that's cool though that it's actually Randall Tarley and Sam, and that's because that in the show, Tywin is skinning the deer when Jaime first. It's the first time we meet Tywin, I think.
Yes,
and it's with Jaime, but with Samwell, he's disgusted by the death and the gruesome stuff of hunting and the skinning of the that's unbelievably unsettling for him, and so it just paints this way darker picture of Randall Tarley than. And granted, that was a very powerful scene in the show with Tywin doing the skinning and stuff, but fucking Martin did it so much better with Randall Tarley because it's it's just a much more savage way because Sam's that soft, plump, gentle kid being escorted in the middle of the fucking morning out to the woods where this man is skinning an animal in front of him, threatening him, saying you can either join the Night's Watch or you can get fucking killed because you're going on a hunt with us and I will kill you.
Yeah.
I will myself, your father, fucking kill you.
I'll tell your mother you were thrown from your saddle to die. She is a kind woman and I have no wish to cause her pain. But nothing would please me more than to hunt you down like the pig that you are. The choice is yours, the Night's Watch, or he holds up the deer heart, or this. And he's saying that to his son.
Yeah, man.
And John notes that, oddly, Sam doesn't cry at all during the telling of this story. I think that's a sign of how much Sam has hardened toward his father.
I think that's some steely resolve that's going to really point to the arc that he's expected to be going throughout the series, that he's got this, I dealt with this savagery from my father for years and years and years. It's the one thing that doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got their shit, man. Sam is hardened in a different way due to the abuse he had at his father's hands. So John suggests heading in for some hot cider and some singing, and Sam's face is troubled again, and he asks, he's going to make me fight again tomorrow, isn't he? And John says, yeah, he is. And so Sam says, nah, I better get some sleep then, and he heads off.
Yeah.
So John
good decision.
Yeah. John enters the common room alone, but Ghost and the brothers in there are discussing Sam, making fun of him. But John ends up snapping at them, telling them that this is how it's going to be from now on. Ain't no one going to be fucking with Sam. And it says, it's sort of like a quick montage.
Yeah, it's kind of
he
like...
persuaded some, cajoled others, shamed others, and made threats when threats were required.
Yeah, I just feel like it's got that little 80s music montage of him, grouping around the group of them and, talking to some and then, pointing his finger all angrily at other ones. But Rast refuses.
Oh, yeah, by the end, all agreed except Rast. So... when the castle slept, hours later...
this is like some military boys camp, or the boys'
blanket
school.
Parties, I think is what they were called, where they just jump someone. Gren, Pip, and John visit Rast, holding him down as Ghost stands on his chest and nips lightly at his throat enough to draw blood. And John says, we know where you sleep.
Yo, damn, guy.
Then we get the jump, and it says, from that day forward... no one would hurt Samwell Tarly. They would swat his attacks away or give him lighthearted taps on the shoulder when instructed to attack. And Sir Alliser would rage at all of them.
They would sit there and defend his blows so that he was training as well and swinging.
Yeah.
And, if he forced them to hit, they would go in and tap him. And if he wanted them to hit harder, they just wouldn't. Just fuck you, dude.
And then a few nights later, he actually joined them at dinner, taking a place beside Halder.
I really like this progression of time here. Showing the growth and just the bond that develops between these guys.
Yeah, and at first, he wouldn't really talk, but in time he was laughing with and joking and jesting with Pip with the best of them. And it says that Sam was no fool, and eventually he approaches John and says, I don't know what you did, but I know you did it. And Sam says, I've never had a friend before. And John says, we're not friends. We're brothers of the Knights. Well, we're brothers.
This is one of those, those cliche fucking... it's like a chick flick fucking line. Just, we're not friends. And Sam is all taken aback. We're brothers. So it's like, you fuck.
So John thinks that he still loves Robb and Bran and Rickon, but he isn't one of them. He was never one of them, thanks to Catelyn Stark, thanks to his name. But Castle Black is his life now, and his brothers were Sam and Pip and Gren, and the other cast-outs in Black.
And once again, he brings up Uncle Ben, and he mentions, you might be off enjoying your visit with Peter Parker, but I am here realizing that your advice and your words to me were true, and I'll never get the chance to
You're
tell you.
you're the worst person ever. My uncle spoke truly, he said to Ghost. And then he just wonders if he's ever going to see his Uncle Benjamin again.
That's
to
what
tell
I
him.
said, yo.
He is not Uncle Ben.
Yo, you will see Uncle Ben in that book at some point.
And that'd be it. That was the end of John 4.
Awesome chapter.
Yeah, really
I
good
really
chapter.
enjoyed that.
Sam's introduction is good.
Yeah.
You really see how soft and vulnerable he is, but he does have a sort of courage, an odd sort of courage. Got an inductee?
Yeah, this time I do, actually. Don't look at me like that, like you're surprised. I always come prepared to this.
Go, yeah?
Yeah, I'm good. I was giving mine to Pip.
Yeah?
Because he's the... it's expected of John. He's the bastard, Lord Snow, who always steps up and protects, he speaks, the peasants fucking cower. Pip's the first one to step up and back up his friend. He wants to talk shit about fucking Sam. He's the biggest shit talker at the wall besides Thorne himself. And so, he's it's a field day for him with Sam. But he's like, no, my friend's defending him. That kid is getting his ass beat for no reason. I'm going to fight too. Gren's too dumb to step forward himself, so he followed behind. But, good for Pip, man, for being a badass and stepping forward. So he can join the Brotherhood this week.
Mine is going to Halder, just because I like that he's focused on improving himself, and he really wants to best John in the yard. And then he really only is attacking Sam because he's commanded to. He's not getting any pleasure out of it like Ras does. And he's with them at dinner, and he's laughing and joking. And then when Sam joins him, he's sitting next to Halder. And I think that's telling that, Halder isn't immediately get the fuck out of here. So
yeah.
Halder, he seems like he's good with a sword, and he could be getting better. And so we need all the swords we can get.
Here, the Brotherhood.
So Halder gets my inductee. But you guys should write us in and let us know your inductees for John 4.
And whoever, Ned 6 next
Ned
chapter?
6 will be next. We also have Sansa 2 and Cat 5 coming up.
Woohoo! So get us your inductees to the Brotherhood for those chapters. If you have any talking points about this chapter that you want us to rehash or you agree with, let us know.
You can hit us up on Twitter at Manners Without. Nate's pretty active on there. We are on Facebook at facebook.com/Brotherhood Podcast. We got the Instagram at Brotherhood Without. You can find us on iTunes. We would love a rate and review on iTunes.
We also, we're on Patreon, Without Manners, patreon.com/Without Manners. And
Gmail?
Gmail, Without Manners Brotherhood at gmail.com.
Hey.
Those are all the socials. So, yeah, write to us. Let us know what you're thinking. If you got any theories, thoughts, inductees, whatever, we're there. We check the emails.
True that.
So
we hope to hear from you guys soon, and we will catch you on the next book chapter, which will be Ned 6.
Hasta lasagna volo to hair. I don't know what I'm fucking saying right now, man. I guess we're not leaving. So guess you're hanging out with the Brotherhood a little longer.
Peace.
Fella to Harris.